StarCast is proudly sponsored by DogHouseSystems.com. If you use the code StarCast or Biscuit at checkout, you'll get double memory on your next Doghouse system. We thank DogHouseSystems.com for their support of StarCast. Additional support for this week's episode comes from SC2QuoteOfTheDay.com. Daily quotes from the StarCraft 2 community. The site may suck, but the quotes are sick. Coming up next week on June 14th for episode 107, MLG Wigan will be rejoining us for the second time. And following him on episode 108 the week after, we're having a guest, the founder and president of ESFI World, Brent Ruiz, will be joining us. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 106 of StarCast.
It's about damn time for StarCast.
Incoming transmission.
Biscuit.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 106 of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. I am your host, Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always today, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, man, how are you doing? It's been a long week.
It has. It's been a crazy week. Apparently, we have Octane with us and his squeaky chair.
Thanks. Whatever. Yes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Welcome to the show. We've had you on before. The video producer of this fine show and our overall slave for many, many, many other tasks, Patrick, Octane Pro from the StarCast forums. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Been really busy this week, as you would know, but outside of that, things are going well.
Yeah, well, good to hear. Good to hear. So, yes, to the chat room, who everyone is just screaming, "Where's Day 9? I was lied to. It's coming." It was a pre-recorded interview. We're airing it tonight.
We said that. We didn't hoodwink anyone. We didn't bamboozle anyone.
Exactly. I know Patrick runs around telling everyone he's just going to be on the show, like, permanently. I know Patrick lies to people.
That's right. All the time. Every day.
We're truthful. We're stand-up guys. But
well, we got to be the face, but he's just some producer. I mean, he can lie to everyone.
What can I say? I'm not the face of StarCast.
Speaking of lies and deception, this has been an E3 week of epic disappointment.
Yes. Yeah, can we just have a moment of silence for the console industry? Because it's a good time to be a PC gamer.
Apparently. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for that silence, but let's fill it with words instead, since this is a radio show.
Okay, I've got words. I'm really excited for smart glass.
Well, okay, here's what I figured out. So E3 is now about investors and not about completely wowing gamers. Clearly, they're selling to some sort of buyer who doesn't understand what video games are.
Fair enough. I think what it is, though, honestly, I think it's an off year. It's the consoles are at the end of their life, but it's not the year that anyone's announcing a new console, so there's just nothing exciting.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Up to that, and Microsoft forgot that the Xbox plays games.
Oh, apparently.
Well, we need to have a conversation here as well, because there's something really frightening happening in this world. It's been in the world for a long time, particularly amongst introverted nerds. Hover hands. A lot of pictures are coming out of E3 where boys are posing with attractive women, but they have their hands hovering like 2 inches above their shoulders, behind their backs. Like, it's real creepy. So I want to somehow give them some good advice, because you can hover right behind the back. At least, then you're not touching them if you think that's weird. But these pictures have got to stop.
These are coming from Dr. Love over here. Kyle Ferguson, everyone.
Yeah. I mean, just put your hand there. It's a shoulder, whatever. Particularly if you have if you're doing the big, there's 5 of us all hanging out. No one knows whose hand is whose, so just let it lie.
Right at the middle of the back, never the lower back, never any lower, just right at the middle back.
Yeah, I mean, right below the shoulder blades, that's acceptable, yes?
Yeah, so you can only go as far as the lower back. Any lower than that, no. Cross the line.
Now, what if she's wearing, as they are, a tube dress, and that would be putting your hand against her flesh?
That's trouble. Back on topic.
What? Yeah. This is very important.
Yeah, Think Tank in the chat room has it down. In related news, Kyle has been arrested for sexual assault at E3 in the past, so he does know the rules to this.
Well, anyways, back to the console topic, though. I know console doesn't have a lot going for them, but the one thing they do have, which has come out this week with E3 and actually with Twitch, is that Twitch TV will now be offered on Xbox Live. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I am very excited about that. Although I want to know, is it gold only, or does silver live members get it as well? Because I don't pay for Xbox Live anymore because I don't really play on my Xbox anymore.
So pretty much, if they did allow it for your membership, you could pretty much use it as your streaming box and just have it hooked to the TV, pop on the tournament, and off you go.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And as a matter of fact, if it is gold only, and I'm not saying this so that they do charge me, but if they are charging, I'll probably pay for it because I would love it. A nice, just really easy way to get like MLG and God knows what else on my big television. So.
Oh yeah, I mean for me, I take my laptop, hook it up to my HDMI cable to my television, and there we go. It's a second monitor. But if I had an outlet like that where you just pop on the TV, navigate to where you want, and off you go, that would be awesome. So we'll have to wait and see. I know they announced it, but I don't think it's been rolled out just yet.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't even a formal announce. They just showed like the new Xbox Live stuff, and one of the icons on there, one of the new apps was Twitch TV. Okay. And that's everyone's like, oh my God, it's coming. So
I'm just glad I get to be a big old PC hipster and be like, streaming live on my TV. I've been doing that for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's fun. So we've got a big announcement here at the top of the show before we move into the meat of it. We are, well, I don't know. What do we say? How do we say that? We're announcing a network. Yeah. We're announcing a network. It's called amove.tv. And you can head on over right now to twitch.tv/amovetv. And that's where we're going to be doing this show. This StarCast will be done same time as always over there. We're going to be doing This Week in Blizz over there. And Patrick is here today to talk very briefly about his new show that will also be launching on the A-Move network. So, Patrick, your show is called The Strategist, correct?
That is correct. I'm airing a show with conjunction and working with A-Move TV called The Strategist. It is going to be a StarCraft 2 kind of centralized show. And pretty much it's a netcast dedicated to teaching the game of StarCraft to players of all levels. Pretty much what it'll do is it'll emphasize its focus on teaching builds from the basics of the build order to transitions through scouting. So to give a quick little example of it, let's pick the 4-gate. So we're going to take a show, myself and my co-host, which a lot of people in the community know as Buddha, who also casts for several other tournaments. And we are going to pretty much take the build order of a 4-gate, which is very simple to a lot of us, but breaking it down is what's key about it. So what we're going to do is take the 4-gate, we're going to talk about it. Okay, step 1, you do this, step 2, you do this, so on and so forth. But then we're going to jump into a game, display it, talk about it. We're going to talk about the history of the 4-gate, where it first started, things to look for, things to progress through for the 4-gate. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and say, okay, if the 4-gate fails, you do the build order, you do the 4-gate, and you don't take out your opponent, what do you do next? Because there's tons of shows out there that talk about, okay, this is how you do this build. Well, then a lot of us do that build, and then we go, okay, what's next? Well, this is what's going to do that. What's next is going to be, okay, this is going to show how to transition out of that. And then on the flip side of that, it's also going to show how to scout a 4-gate. So if you're a Zerg and you're expanding, how do you scout for the 4-gate, and then how do you defend and counter against it? And all the matches that we're going to show and work with are all going to be pro matches, so we're going to go out and get replays and stuff like that. And so we're really excited about it. It's going to add something new to not only the StarCraft community, but also to A-Move TV.
Very cool. And that's not all. You'll also be, the Strategist is doing a launch tournament. The
Correct.
Strategist Open, if I am understanding correctly.
Correct.
And there's actually cash prizes. It's not like tournaments in the past.
No.
It's just like, we've got some stickers and a headset, So
yes.
Yeah, there's some cash prizes. Got a lot of awesome sponsors over there.
Correct.
So you guys should check that out.
Yep.
It's on June 23rd.
Yep, throwing that up right now. Pretty much what we're doing to help advertise the Strategist and to also, show everyone the new home of This Week in Blizz and also StarCast and the Strategist Open. We've went ahead and partnered up with 8 different sponsors: A-Move TV, Zeke, Shifting Gears, Team Madness, Girls of StarCraft, Tilt Gaming, Iowa Gamers Online, and also Year in StarCraft 2011. And we have a cash prize tournament. It'll be on June 23rd. First place will be $150, second place will be $75, and third place will be $25. So make sure you guys check that out, and more news will be on Team Liquid and also on Zeke in the next few weeks.
Sweet. So y'all go check that out. I'm very excited about the new show.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah. So Anyways, in other news this week, we got the patch 1.5 arcade beta that has started. Kyle, I'm sure you're a little excited about this because you're big on the custom games.
I enjoy my select custom games. This one doesn't yet have all of them, but basically what's going on here, we've heard about the arcade coming up, that there's going to be some new way that Blizzard's going to allow us to play custom games. Really what this is going to do is get rid of that darn popularity bar that makes you see the same few games every night if you go there. And not everyone does, but I enjoy me a good custom game once in a while. So it's going to have reviews on it. This is one of the coolest things about it. When you select a game, you're going to see the creator has a how to play page. They have a reviews page. They have a important tips for playing this game. So games that those of us who might be afraid to join because we'll get yelled at for being nubs wouldn't join that game. Well, now you can learn about it before you actually press that play button. You can give a review of it. That's going to help everyone find new, cool custom games. Also, what's going on in the background of this is if you get on while this beta is going on, the beta is you do need to go to Battle.net. You need to download an additional client, and that's kind of a separate version of the beta game that allows you to get into it. Well, if you go into that game and you rate a game once a day, you are entered in a contest. You're entered in a contest to win a beta key for Heart of the Swarm.
Badass.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is something we talked about briefly on This Week in Blizz. It's you get basically your name added one extra time per day. You can't just spam it, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's great.
So it should be fun. The ones that are in there right now are very representational of what Blizzard thinks is neat and cool. I mean, they are pretty cool. These are going to be more of the games that are out there that have made the game into a card game, have additional graphics, have things you've never seen before, custom animations inside them. So it's pretty cool. Go check it out. Rate a game. Maybe get a Heart of the Swarm beta key.
Yeah, definitely go do that. We also got a Heart of the Swarm feature list this past week. I think this was like literally the day after we recorded the show last week, as things always tend to happen. So they've said that they are officially bringing in the resume a multiplayer match from a replay feature that everyone has been clamoring for ever since I believe it was added to Dota. And then someone came up with that mod that basically did the same thing as well.
Yeah, Dota basically showed us that it could be done very easily. And one of the things they haven't yet added, which I'd love to see, that is in Dota 2, is the ability to join games that are currently going on. So on their main page, when you log in, on the screen there, you see so-and-so famous players are playing right now. Do you want to observe this game? And we're like, well, yes, I would love to watch this team ladder. I would love to. How awesome would that be to just log into StarCraft 2? You wouldn't even need streams anymore.
Well, that would be really cool. I mean, let's say you two were playing in a game and I got online and saw, like, it would say that you're in a game and I could go ahead and select to join it. The only technical downside I see there is lag, meaning that, like, all of a sudden you could have 20 people spectating your game. If there's a way to, now I'm just throwing out a theory, if there's a way to have the game in this area and the spectators in this section, and so the spectators never affect the in-game stuff, then that's fine.
Yeah,
but
if they're watching like some sort of 10-second replay.
Anything that wouldn't affect the in-game, because all of us have been in games where we have spectators, and then all of a sudden it lags, and you're like, come on. Especially, look at tournaments like MLG and stuff like that, where you see one of the camera guys or one of the casters lag. Like, you just can't have it happen. So if they can do that, separate it, I think it'd be an awesome idea with the, jumping into a game of your friends that's already in motion.
Yeah, I'm all for this. I'm really excited to kind of see how they implement this. The other thing they said is coming is global play, which excited the hell out of me, especially since Diablo 3 just came out, and all of our first reaction to global play being enabled is like, why the hell isn't this in StarCraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I think it'll be helpful to a lot of people that, for example, like myself, that has like an account on the Korean server. Like, it'd be really nice to not have a second account there, or like a lot of pro players. They have like 7 or 8 accounts just because of the sheer fact of, being able to move over to the different servers and stuff like that. So
Right.
This would save everybody a lot. I mean, now I know it comes down to the whole technical side, but as you said, why wasn't this thought of before we released the game?
Yeah, exactly. I guess everyone now just all the pros just have a ton of Smurf accounts. I guess this is what they get out of that.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, it'll be nice, especially because Kyle, you and I, we've talked to many people from the UK and Australia that we can't play with, so that'll be nice.
Yeah. Well, the key thing right there, like somebody in chat when I was talking about the tournament, and I didn't actually mention North America there. Somebody was like, "Oh, is that North America only?" It's just like, unfortunately, yes. But if they implemented the global play, you could switch over and participate.
Yeah. Now, of course, with the global play, we'll be getting multi-language support, so hopefully we won't be completely confused by our different cultured teammates in our 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Yes.
So we're getting the clan/group system is coming in. They said that we continue to read your passionate requests for clan support. Really? I'm sure they're more than just passionate. It's something I've been it's been my number one gripe since day one, since we kind of run a community with this show. So I can't wait for clan support.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. The way I viewed it was like the way it's kind of like the same method as kind of like WoW, where you have, let's say you have a team like Team EG, for example, and they're all in the same clan or group or whatnot. It would be really cool if they gave those groups ratings. For example, like depending how the players do in ladder, that entire like group or clan has a rating, and then they can move up like a clan ladder per se. I think that would be really cool, and it kind of would be a group effort. Like, hey, like you could get a team of people. Like, let's say we just made a team all of a sudden. We had 5 people on our team. We could be practicing together, pushing each other to kind of do well in ladder in order to help out our clan rating. So there's so many more possibilities in this game that they're introducing. I'm just really excited, and I mean, it kind of sucks that they have to wait till Heart of the Swarm to introduce them, but I think it'll be great.
Yeah. I really, this is like, when they put out this much stuff, this is when I wish Blizzard gave us some even remote timeline as to when this is coming out, because I'm really, chomping at the bit now to get my hands on Heart of the Swarm, and we have no idea when this is coming out.
It's got to be so scary for them, because Diablo, at least you have the single-player experience, sure. I can't play single-player offline, that sucks. They're continuing to have issues with those Diablo servers. In fact, they were just down for several hours today and recently went back up. So doing this to a competitive crowd, oh my goodness, the tidal wave of hate they must receive. Not to mention people who can hate legitimately because this is their profession being fronted or, being destroyed by your lack of server control.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe they still don't have a handle on the whole Diablo situation. It's kind of mind-boggling because Blizzard has been pretty stinking good about server management, with their other games.
It's got to be the global thing then. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's at least where all the eyes go to.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're also getting the unranked matchmaking, which is basically taking your ladder, your rank, your MMR, and all that stuff into consideration and matching you up against someone of similar skill, but does not affect your ladder ranking in any way, shape, or form, which I'm quite excited about. And I think it's going to be great for anyone who just decides on a whim to change their race.
Yeah, no, I think I'm really excited about it because I'm one of those people that does a decent amount of ladder, but I do a ton of practice games ahead of time, like playing versus people that I can find in chat or going into the custom game and playing Daybreak because that's like the only one on the top list there. This is going to be really cool because then this is like pretty much like the practice arena. You go to this for all your practicing, all your testing and stuff like that. And then when you want to take it to ladder, you can. I mean, I'm one of those people where I'm very concerned about my ladder. Like, I do my games. If I lose like 3 games in a row, I'm done. So to have a spot where I can practice and get everything up and running, get tested out, ready to go, I'm really excited about it. I think it's really going to change the game a lot.
Yeah, it's going to make practicing a lot less stressful. And then finally, we're getting multiplayer replay viewing, which I think is just the bomb. I'm really excited about this, although I'm sure I'm not nearly as excited as a lot of the coaches out there because it's going to make coaching a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, this was a no-brainer. I mean, this was kind of one of the items where if I could pick anything from this list, this is one of the ones where I would have went, why didn't we have this when this first launched? Like, some of these other ones, okay, all right, but this definitely. I mean, it was in the original StarCraft, wasn't it? So that's why I'm just like, come on now. So yeah.
Yeah. Should be nice. So that's really looking forward to all of this, and as usual, no timeline on when this game is actually coming out. So, alas. Also this week, Season 7 was locked up. They said Season 8 will be starting up the week of June 11th, so that's next week. And the Grandmaster League will start 1 week following the season roll. So, that's all the Blizzard news for the week. Now, are you all ready?
What are we ready for? I don't understand.
The chat room has just been exploding.
Now lead us into this. So you were going to CSL.
Yes, I went to the CSL Finals this past weekend because I live in Florida, and a lot of things don't come here. So I was very excited to hear that there was a StarCraft final going on. There's the Collegiate Star League Finals, so this is all of the college teams. And it was good. It was a really, I was impressed by their setup. It was very nice, very professional. They did a good job with it. Obviously, they had a few issues on stream, which I'm sure anyone who was tuning in, there was a historic saving grace involving a camera recording what was going on off of someone's laptop screen, which was just so badass. I'll talk about that more after the fact.
Well, at least we have digital screens now instead of, remember when they tried to film TVs back 10 years ago even, and all you would get was the lines?
Yeah, old CRTs and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that all happened. But anyway, the highlight of the day was obviously I got a chance to sit down and talk with Sean, better known as Day 9. He's a great guy. I've met him, multiple times in the past, but it's always been at like an after party, like at the MLG Columbus, and it's hard to talk to people when the music is louder than an AC/DC concert and there's a lot of foods. So yeah, loud music, free alcohol makes it hard to talk to people. So it was nice to actually sit down and have a chat with the man himself. So anyways, everyone sit back, relax, and enjoy this talk I got to have with Day 9.
Hi, I'm Garrett with StarCast. I'm sitting here with it's not even arguable, our most requested guest ever, Sean Plott, better known as Day 9. How you doing, Day 9?
I'm doing quite well, Garrett. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. It was a long drive up here and lots of music I'm really sick of on my iPhone. So time to get some new music.
Yeah, I go on a good amount of road trips because I drive to San Francisco or San Diego every now and again from LA, and I'll just be like, oh, I have 2 sweet albums, and by the time I'm like 4 hours in and I've heard the album like 6 times, it's rough.
You become your own radio. You burn out the music you already love. You just play it too much.
I become my own radio. I just start singing in the car and entertain myself for the last 2 hours. It's how I build that burly casting muscle.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So we're here at the CSL, the Collegiate Star League Finals in Orlando, Florida, which excited me because nothing ever comes here, ever, including music. So how did you first get involved with the CSL?
Well, I actually first got involved in the CSL as a player. I played for Harvey Mudd College as an undergrad and then played when I was a first-year grad student at USC. So I've always known Duran and the CSL organizers very well, Mona, Hazley Nutt, who helped put a lot of it together. And in my eyes, it's like the perfect kind of league that isn't taking the winning aspect too seriously, because it's very easy to be in these huge competitions where you get these players where like winning is everything and they get crushed if they lose, and if they win they just get this huge emotional high. But I just don't think that there is a need to separate the extreme joy of just fun and competition with that, or I just think there's a way to merge that like fun of competition together. And CSL's like so awesome how you can like play and win, and then you can go to lunch with your friends and be like, oh, that was really awesome, and it creates this community of you with your buddies. And at the end of the day, if you lose, it doesn't matter. It's like joining a local frisbee league or something like that. It gives people the chance to compete and just play and have fun.
That's a good way to look at it. It's definitely what makes it more unique as opposed to the other star leagues and whatnot. So it's funny that I ran into you here because we just had a show this past Thursday, and we had a lot of people in the chat room because we take questions at the end of the show. Yeah. We were like, hey guys, what guests would you like to see in the future? And one person goes, have you ever tried to get Day 9 on? And I go, no, I've never tried to get one of the most popular personalities in the StarCraft world on the show. I've never tried. And I said, of course I have. He's very busy, and you are. Yeah. You just got back. You just finished the Red Bull Battlegrounds. How do you manage all this stuff? I mean, you do fly around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much do 100-hour weeks every week and have for 2 years with no days off ever. I mean, I just think that it's an illusion that if you are having any success, or actually let me just say, no matter if it's success or not success, just with any job, no matter what, you have to hit the grindstone and work really, 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 really hard. And I especially have, seen in the last week, I've had some interactions where I've just seen people have this incredible degree of entitlement to them, where they have this sense of, oh, I don't have to do that work. I'm above that. I'm the person who's above needing to go get 40,000 photocopies of something and hand them out. That's beneath me. It's like, no. It's beneath no one. I mean, there's tons of aspects to even my job. And I love my job. My life kicks ass, right? But I mean, video encoding, like dealing with slow upload times. If you're in a venue and the circuit breaks and you just have to get the crew together to fix it. I mean, that's not a sophisticated task, but that has to be done. And it's important that you commit to doing that. So, what always re-energizes me throughout is just that people are really nice. That's like my consistent experience. I know a lot of people are like, there's so many trolls on the internet, oh my God. And if you actually do research and look really hard, there's probably 20 people who are being negative or mean. Right. And like everyone else is like the nicest person ever. Like my chat on my stream, it's really nice. Like, hey Sean, how are you? So it's kind of nice. I get on there and I'm like, I might be feeling kind of down because I'm tired or maybe I'm not in a good mood that day, and the chat cheers me up and then I can do the show and feel good. Or like I come to an event like this and people just come up and just say nice things and I'm just like, oh yeah. And also even the fact that, UCF is helping put this event on. Yeah. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy because I still remember being so young and watching StarCraft stream from Korea, and it was super low quality and the prize pool was like $500 and it was just so not glamorous, but everyone loved it.
So when I complain that the GSL's video quality isn't 1080p, does that make you like just want to punch me in the face and be like, just shut up and watch it?
You actually asked me that question and gave me the microphone. I mean, it's an interesting position you've put me in. Do I say yes? In fact, Garrett, now that you've told me that, I might punch you in the face mid-interview. You never know. Or I may not. No, I mean, it's one of those things where there's a difference between like frustration and then entitlement. There's like, oh God, it lagged right at the key moment when the banelings were about to hit, Yeah. That's like you dropping your burger on your pants right before it's that juicy, delicious thing's about to go into your mouth. Like, I can understand that sort of frustration, but when people take that next step and they're like, the stream doesn't care, why do they, how does that happen? How did they knew that those banelings were coming, why didn't they make sure that the server wouldn't go down have it...
Like there's some hamsters running the server wheel, just like make them run faster. That's a possibility.
It's one of those things that just sucks. It's fun for no one. It's not fun for the production. It's not fun for the crew. There's no production team that pulls the plug right when the banelings are about to unburrow and kill the Marines and goes, got him. Like, no one does that. So, but I mean, by and large, just the community is just a bunch of sweethearts. So I that's what energizes me. Although I am taking a break for like 3 weeks off, like actually disconnecting from the internet.
Well, that's probably going to be good for you. Now, what are you doing with that time? Or am I not allowed to ask you? You like putting on a Batman suit and saving the world?
Yes, that's how I relax. I'll come back having saved the world with a weird bat tan, where it's like I have the pointy ear marks and I'll have a really tan mouth.
You heard it. Dark Knight Rises coming out in a few weeks. Yeah. Day 9 starring in it. It's his breakout role.
I actually don't know how to take a vacation. I actually have no idea what you're supposed to do, because there's always that itching anxiety. If I wake up and it's Saturday and it's like 4 p.m. and I just haven't really done that much, I'm like, well, have I wasted the day? Like, let's say that there's a Saturday where I don't have to cast, I don't have to travel. I get up and I do like 2 hours of work, and then I'm like, okay, I have like 6 hours. I better have a fun, relaxing 6 hours, because the only time I have for the next like 3 weeks. And then I'm like, if I like watch a TV show and it's like kind of dry, I'm like, well, shit. How do we efficiently have fun? And I actually don't have to do that now if I'm taking 3 weeks off. So I actually, I'm going to try to figure out how to do that. It's going to be a learning process. I didn't buy a ticket to go anywhere because I just don't want to be on planes anymore.
I can understand that. Although I guess being in Southern California at least has its perks then, because you're like, well, there's a bunch of theme parks, there's a nice beach, you get around.
I should go to Magic Mountain. Yeah. I should go to wow. I could go to Disneyland.
Yep.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Garrett.
I lived in LA for 2 years, and even in that short amount of time, you forget that, oh yeah, there's tourist things to do here.
Wow. Yeah, because I didn't go to the beach for the first 6 years I was in LA.
Yeah. To be honest, as someone who's spent more time in Florida than LA, the beach, the water's a little cold, even during the summer. It's a little chilly. It's a little chilly, yeah. So, well, that's great, Dana. I hope you have a good vacation.
Me too. It's going to be relaxing. I'm going to come back with like a tan, and like the tips of my hair will be bleached like I'm a 7th grader from 1996. It'll be really sweet.
Sporting the NSYNC shirt. So, as far as the CSL has been, getting back on the subject of things that don't involve tans, who's impressed you the most so far this weekend, and who do you think is going to take it?
You know, I think it's pretty clear who's been the two impressive parties. One would be QXC in the All-Star tournament. He was just kind of gone for a long time, and there's a lot of people in any sport who, you know, go away and they come back. I'm going to do it. You know, like boxers who start to slip down and they come back, and then they get the shit kicked out of them for that one final game, and then they finally disappear. And it's kind of it's disheartening because you know that person's life used to be boxing and they used to care so much. And when QXC took that just long, I don't want to call it like a break from StarCraft because I know he was playing some, but Harvey Mudd's really, really tough school, so he just obviously can't play as much. And I was sort of expecting him to come back and kind of foible and collapse, but he's just been seemingly unstoppable in every matchup with some really cool stylistic touches. But probably most of all would be University of North Texas, who's here this weekend, and they really are doing a great job of showcasing what it's like to prepare for a team match. Because, I mean, if you go to like the MLG Open brackets, you just have to be really good in all matchups, on all maps, in any situation. You just have to be like incredibly good as a player. And you have to have endurance because you're playing all weekend long. In an event like this, you as a player are playing one game in one matchup on one map, so you can be really, really, really specific with your preparation. And we've seen wild strategies out of UNT, and despite not really having any star-studded lineup like Washington does, they've just been performing really, really well. So props to them.
That's good to hear. Well, we'll let you get back to it here in a very quickly.
In a moment, but...
Just a moment.
I'm ready.
But we always, anytime we have a guest on the show, we have to hit them with just a wacky, weird, off-topic question.
Okay.
Day 9, what is your favorite sandwich?
I think my favorite sandwich... would probably have to be any sort of, like, turkey bacon guacamole from Quiznos. I searched my mind for all the possible sandwiches. Does a panini count as a sandwich?
We'll let it slide.
Oh, then a caprese panini. Oh, a caprese sandwich. Oh, when they grill it and it has like little grill lines in there. I don't even know if that's painted on. It doesn't even feel grilled. I don't care. It's so good.
Someone's back there with a Sharpie. Just trace it.
Yeah, like filling it in. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that because it's one of those funny things when, you know, you actually get the chance to do some event production where, or even on stream production, you realize that there's no right way to do anything. Everything is a total hacked together pile of shit, always, no matter what. You know, like, I remember at the After Hours Gaming League, Season 2 Finals, there's like a big Day 9 TV banner, and someone lost the screws to them. So we have this piece of fabric, and we have like poles and no way to attach everything together. Right. So we drilled a hole through a portion of the wall and cut a slit in the fabric and just zip tied it up to the wall. So like just off there's this like and there's like duct tape across it in every way. On the other side we like stacked water and paper in like a metal suitcase, and that's what was holding up the other end. And so like in this frame it looks great. And then if you go up a little bit you're just like, oh, what did they do to that poor banner? It was like
Dude,
really
close shots, no wide shots, not allowed.
Yeah, and it's like this happens all the time in every event where you're just like, oh.
The guy remote switch on.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the way that I know a lot of streamers used to do streaming, including me, is that there was no good way to do overlays. XSplit, people don't understand how huge XSplit was. That one program replaces like $30,000 to $40,000 of equipment.
Yeah.
Like that.
You can do a lot of the similar stuff you can do with the TriCaster, and those things are expensive as hell.
Yeah, the new tech TriCaster I think is running $25,000 now, and that's like just for the box, not even for a lot of the add-ons. So it's like amazing. And like before that, it was like open up a graphic as a windowed object. Like in Windows, you can remove the menu bar and you can like close it in. So I would basically have like 6 windows open, sort of laid where I wanted to lay. So if I like alt-tabbed and they would like disappear and I'd have to like tab them all back to the front. It was so stupid. But yeah, and it's one of those things where it's a stupid solution, but it looks okay. And that's all that really matters, is that it looks okay. So it's all fun, creative problem solving. And of course, this relates back to me saying I wouldn't be unconvinced if a grilled cheese sandwich actually was not seared on a grill, but instead was Sharpie.
All right. Well, Day9, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with the rest of the weekend.
I'm glad to have given that input about sandwiches.
All right. Have a good vacation.
Wow.
We're back.
Wow. I love the panini. He's like, oh!
Yes. So my question to the largest audience I think we've ever had in the stream is, how many of you are going to Quiznos after this and getting a turkey bacon avocado?
I know.
Yeah.
That interview is sponsored by Quiznos.
Exactly.
How many of you got called out by Day9 for your 1996 haircut? Because I totally had one right there. Check it out.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. You look like a member of NSYNC.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like NSYNC when like they first came out and they all had their like little boy haircuts.
Well, I was a little boy. I wasn't in sync, but
where's your frosted tips? Come on now.
Yeah. So to everyone in the chat room who's asking if that's it, yes, unfortunately that is it. He had to go back and cast. So
And now there's a whole lot of people sitting around going, who the hell are these guys?
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I guess you can leave. Just go away if you don't like
Yeah,
us.
or stick around, get to know us a little bit. We're on episode 106, which means we've been doing this for like 300 hours or something. Not continuously, but in the grand scheme of
What's
StarCast.
90 minutes times 200.
Well, but you forget that we did the campaign roundtable, not to mention all the planning we've done for previous shows. So somewhere around like 500 hours.
You guys deserve a medal. But also, make sure that if you guys are new to this, this channel is actually moving. So if you guys did go ahead and click follow, make sure you guys do go ahead and check out where this channel will be. If you were here at the top of the show, it will be at twitch.tv/amovetv. And that's where you're going to find this show in the future, all of our new guests coming on. Who's some of the new guests we have coming on? Do you have that list up and available there, Garrett?
I have it in my head. We have MLG Wigan coming next week. We have Brent Ruiz, the founder and president of ESFI World. We have... Oh, and then I blanked.
Well... But yes, we have quite a few. We have LZ Gamer coming on in the future. We're starting to have some talks with Sundance coming back on the show, and also In Control. So yeah, a lot of great.
And Kim Rom, the CMO of Steel Series, is coming on after LZ Gamer.
Yeah, so
along with some awesome hopefuls that I am privileged to look at here, since I share a Google Doc.
That's right. You're special. You're real special.
Yep. Gotta love those internet connected devices. See, that was a good time. Day9 really is like the man. I have to say, if anyone thinks like he's not as nice as he seems on camera, he really actually is. We had a nice chat like before the interview and whatnot. So yeah, it's a good time. It's fun.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed. I did have the privilege of watching it before we aired it there, but I was dying when I watched it. Like I couldn't believe like he's so funny. Like you watch his Day9 dailies and you crack up watching them because you're like, this guy's insane. But then like just a casual interview with you, it's just like everything is hilarious. So it'll be really cool for people that want to check that out or tell their friends in the future. Make sure you guys do check out the VOD here on Twitch, and or we will have it up on YouTube here tomorrow most likely.
Yeah, indeed. And after that, I have to say I am definitely looking into investing in a good camera with a tripod because I didn't know about CSL until last week's show. So that gave me 2 days to prepare to go to it. So all I had to work with was my iPhone and a microphone that plugs into an iPhone. So I just do have to give a shout out to Katie, my girlfriend, who sat there with an iPhone trying her best to hold it as still as possible because I had no time to rent a decent camera. So I apologize, everyone, for the little shakiness, but it's the best we could do.
The quality was good regardless, especially coming out of like an iPhone. I mean, the audio quality is what mattered. If you want to see pictures of Day 9 or Garrett, go look them up online. But the audio is what mattered, and it came out really well. So nice job.
Yeah. Day 9 was threatening her before we started the interview. It was really funny. He's like, wait, she has to sit there and hold that? I'm like, yeah. He's just like, you better hold it still. The fans are going to come after you. Don't you shake.
Well, it's so funny because he knows like that people look at these things. Like if you looked at chat while it was going on, some of the people were like, oh my gosh, the camera's so shaky. And it's like, it's so funny how he knows it's going to happen. Like people critique everything. Like it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's good. And of course, making people laugh is the best way to stop them from shaking a camera they're holding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, big thanks to Day 9 for taking time out of his incredibly busy weekend. Because that guy, like I said in the interview, had just finished Red Bull Battlegrounds and flown across the freaking country to Florida. And he could have very easily just taken a nap, but he was like, no, we're going to do this interview right here and now, and I really appreciate it. So
can you imagine not having a vacation for like 2 years? Like, not even like a huge vacation, just like, hey, I'm going to have a weekend off. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't want to imagine it. Like, it's just insane. Like, good for him, but I can see how he's so burnt out that he needs to be like, I'm done. I'm disconnecting from the internet.
But you can absolutely understand why he keeps going. I mean, this is his life. Before we even knew it was a life that could be had, this man turned his dream into a reality, and now it's happening before him. I mean, you don't take a day off from that, even if you want to, like he was saying. He can't relax because there's always more to be done.
Yeah. Well, as he said in there, like, nothing is beneath you. So, like, for all those people that are watching and even in their common jobs, and they're just like, yeah, I'm too good for that. It's like, come on now, Day 9, who everybody idolizes and says is like the king of StarCraft, is doing his thing. I mean, look at it. If anyone else watched the CSL, I know, Garrett, you were there, so you didn't see, but you heard about the fact of, like, he literally sat there with a camera holding it up against the screen of a laptop to just...
Oh, yeah. No, I was there, and I did see it. It was really funny because at first it went down completely. All we saw was a black screen.
Okay.
Day 9 ran out on stage with, like, a wireless mic, and he stood behind Anoji.
Okay.
I can't pronounce the guy's name, but he was standing behind him over his shoulder, looking at his screen with a mic, casting it to the audience. And then they got a camera up, and they were recording off a back laptop, so he ran away again and started casting. It was, I mean, I wasn't online, I wasn't on Twitch, and I'm sure chat was exploding. I'm sure everyone was going nuts, like, oh, this is bullshit. What?
The crazy thing was chat was exploding, but they didn't lose any viewers. Like, how, like, things like happen like that, and people are like, this is crap, I'm out of here. They didn't lose any viewers. They sat at, like, the 7,500 mark, a little bit higher, and it just kept on going. So, good for...
That's what I thought was funny is everyone was probably, bitching up a storm, but really you got to hand it to them for quick thinking because shit happens. Streams go down, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I thought they did a pretty memorable job of fixing it to the best of their ability.
Yep.
So that was awesome. So there's that. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be throwing it up on our YouTube channel and other places after we're done with tonight's show. So there'll be links. Follow us on Twitter at TheStarCast. We'll let you know. So there was a lot more this past week though than just CSL and talking to Awesome Day 9. We had the GSTL Season 2. It is now in full swing. And Kyle, again, I know you have a history of not really liking watching team leagues. But damn it, son, you are missing out. You are missing out, Sarah. I put a dent in my desk for you.
Oh, well, I was personally invested for a bit because Team Liquid was there. That was awesome, but sadly they're out. So yes, you are correct. I did not pay attention.
Yeah, dude. All I have to say is the IM versus TSL was one of the greatest series I've ever watched. It was so insanely entertaining. And Patrick, I don't believe you've even had a chance to watch it either.
I haven't had the chance to watch the match yet.
Shame
So
on both of you.
I know.
Holy crap! I'm really excited for MLG this weekend, but this actually like took a notch out of my excitement level because I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to see anything this awesome this upcoming weekend. Lo Sierra was just freaking. He was on fire this past weekend. Or not even past weekend. I think this was 2 days ago. He almost all killed TSL. It was ridiculous. He took them down to their last player, which was Symbol. So we had this ZVZ, which could have been TSL's final match, and Symbol had a hell of a come from behind victory, and it was very close. And then, sure enough, Symbol reverse all killed IM.
What?
He didn't lose. TSL won against IM even though they were down 4 games. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. You need to go watch this series. He went through MVP and NST. It was ridiculous.
This sounds like one of those situations where I need to after the show crack open a beer, put up my feet, and watch this because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really freaking good. So I highly, highly recommend it. Go over to GomTV.net and make sure you watch this stuff because it was absolutely out of this world.
Now, was the last all kill kind of in the industry? Was that the last well known one? Was that Chef that you guys know of? Remember Chef all killed ridiculously some time ago? I didn't know if you guys have heard of any other ones. I haven't, so that's why I thought.
I don't think so, and I sure as hell haven't heard of a reverse all kill.
Yeah. Oh no, reverse. That's disgusting. It's like somebody turned that on. Jesus, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So go check that out if you missed it. Knowing the ending doesn't make it any less awesome because you do not believe what you're seeing. And an entertaining ZVZ, which I usually don't get jacked about ZVZs, but his game against NST was out of this world. It was freaking awesome. Kyle,
ZVZ has been fabulous recently.
Has it? Okay, all right. I usually ZVZ. You know how?
Sure, yeah. Just me watching TVT.
Exactly.
Us skipping that hour-long fiasco.
Well,
sitting next to Kyle at MLG is always fun because we have exact differing opinions on what makes for an exciting StarCraft match. So.
Except for when we both turn to each other and we're like, PvP, PvP.
Yeah, exactly.
Time.
Well, this will be over quickly.
I felt the same way about ZVZ until I saw the last MLG Finals when they broke out the Nidus Worm play and they did the Roach drop, and I was like, what? I was like, am I watching Terran play right now? I'm like, okay, we got the Roach drops over and over again, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is Terran. This guy should be playing Terran. And then the Nidus Worm's coming out, and I was just like, this is the most exciting ZVZ I've ever seen. Every other ZVZ matchup and series is just all right, let's push my army against your army, and let's harass this base, and all right, it's over.
It's so fascinating to watch the evolution of the game. Right now, we are seeing such a change from the death ball to all the races basically saying, oh, I know how to do that. I'll just outdrop it. I'll outmaneuver it. It's a really cool stage in this game right now. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, and even more interested to see, segue, in the show matches that might be happening at a little MLG coming up soon.
Yep.
The Heart of the Swarm show matches.
Yes, indeed.
Kyle, I hear you can ride an Ultralisk.
No, that's not true.
If you could, I know you'd be excited about it, though.
He is the Daenerys Targaryen of Ultralisks. She can ride dragons. He can ride Ultralisks.
There you go.
What? Is that her special power? I'm not keeping up on that show, but it took too long to go wacky fantasy for me.
What? Are you serious?
We should start there. We should start with people riding dragons and end with everyone dead. Not start with everyone dead and eventually end up with dragons. And they killed my favorite character, and I put down the book.
All right. Well, you're wrong, but I still like you.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Anyways, you did have a wonderful, wonderful segue before I ruined it with a Game of Thrones reference, taking it off topic. But, yeah, the MLG Spring Championship is, of course, this weekend. Tomorrow, to be exact. And I couldn't be more angry because I'm literally on the other side of the country.
Yep, join the club.
And I used to live on that side of the country. So I'm kind of like, should have bit the bullet and stayed in California because I'm missing out on a hell of a tournament.
Everything exciting happens in California, I swear. Like, what the hell? Like, ugh. So angry. So angry.
Yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of stuff on the East Coast as well, but it's mostly Northeast.
Well, no one could have foreseen this unless you were listening to Clutch on episode 100, who begged us to foresee this with all his leaking might.
Yep.
He wanted us to know this was going to happen. But what we can basically say is that there isn't going to be a BlizzCon. So Blizzard said, MLG Anaheim, we'll make that like BlizzCon. We'll let everyone just line up and play our version of Heart of the Swarm as it is right now. And there's already been units removed from what we saw at BlizzCon. Things have changed. Oh, yeah. It'll be real interesting to see this.
Yeah, and even more interesting, like you said, if they get they are going to have a show match. They haven't said what pros they're getting to play, but I'm really curious to see these toys put into the hands of people who play this game for a living. So
now it could just be a big advertisement, but who really cares? Like, sure, I remember watching the battle reports during not even beta 2 years earlier than that, and I was excited as hell. So even if they're just like, all right, Polt, sit down, you need to make this, this, and this. Leanox, sit down, you're making this, this, this. Who cares? Like, I just want to see them have their hands on it.
Yeah. Now I have to ask. I know Garrett and I talked about this a little bit, but Kyle, what are your thoughts on them offering to a lot of the Brood War players to play in the open pool of MLG of the tournament?
Anyone can play in the open pool. Should I have an issue with it?
Because what I mean by that is they closed the open pool, like they filled it. And then with the whole announcement and everything, they said, hey, we're going to reserve some spots for you. Do you think, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I'm not saying what are your thoughts on them allowing that. What I mean is, do you think the Brood War players are ready?
Oh, well, that's an interesting thought. I mean, I approve of them opening up 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, I used to play Brood War professionally. Can I come? And they're like, sure, come on over. No, this is Kespa.
Yeah.
You know, moving its ground, showing its muscle, and MLG is more than willing to let them dance on their stage. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I guess my thoughts are, like, everything we've seen so far, especially with the Pro League, I'm like, I just want to be like to all those people that were like, oh, they're going to come over and they're going to rock the current pros and blah, blah, blah. Right now, I'm just like, told you so. Like,
yeah, I'm actually, and I know you shared this sentiment. I'm far more excited for the World Championship series that's going to be hosted at MLG as well, because it's all Americans, man. It's all the guys that at least I kind of align myself with, like, I relate to more.
Yeah, it's natural. I mean, we get behind kind of our nation, you know, our players, and I mean, I have it up on the screen right now. I mean, we got some
and if you don't get behind them, you're a communist. So
that's right.
Take that.
Yeah, I'm probably most excited about it. I mean, I'm excited about another MLG, but once again, it's sad to say it's another MLG. But to have this up there, I mean, some of the people that we don't see commonly at the MLGs or taking, you know, a big stage up there. I mean, there's a lot of teams listed right now with like all these qualifiers that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to be watching that, and I think that starts Friday at 2, but I don't think they start airing it till 5:30. Like the open pool starts at 2.
Well, and how exciting is that for super fan of StarCraft, goes in the open pool. Sure, he's master. He may be on the Grandmaster list, but he gets to go up against a previous Brood War player that he's known about for years and years in the open pool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Maybe he represents even more awesome for that guy I made up.
the guy you made up. Yeah.
I'm getting a little attached to him now. I want to give him a name.
I got nothing about I don't have my clever hat on today.
That's right.
So
you wasted all your clever on day 9.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That wasn't even that clever. So Kyle, are you as far as the championship pool for the spring championship? Are you pulling for Dong Gu again? Is that who you're putting on your sheer hat for?
Oh, absolutely. I know that guy has been busting ass. I mean, he got kicked out of the GSL Code S, sadly, which I was, upset to see. Still in there, made his way back up, of course, but I'm excited to see him represent, see what he's been up to, because he's been quiet, and that's always fun to see.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick top 2 in the finals, Kyle and Garrett, who do you have, if you're looking at the list that we have here?
Ooh.
Well, Marine King Prime and Dong Gu are a safe bet twice in a row, so.
Yeah, probably them, or if I was a betting man, I would almost say Stefano. I think we're going to see damn near close to it, because he's had some very strong showings lately.
Yeah, I'm going to have to add in there Symbol. Symbol in the past few weeks has been doing really, really well.
Oh, did he was in there? Yeah, that's who
Yeah.
freaking reverse all killed in the GSTL. Yes,
yeah.
Symbol is definitely on his A game at the moment, but you never know what happens after jet lag and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, Symbol, and I'm gonna have to say like Marine King or Symbol and DRG, somewhere in that group. I mean, granted, now look at the last MLG though, Marine King Prime and Don Regu, it didn't work out, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe the Don Regu Marine King finals for their kind of reign is over. We'll have to see, but I'm definitely looking at Symbol right now as possibly up there. And
Yeah.
did you guys get a chance to look at the list for WCS?
For WC, yeah, no, yes and no. I don't remember it offhand, and it's
Okay.
very long, so it's not like I'm gonna
Yes.
sit here and read it
Yeah.
off.
Yep.
But I'm just really excited for LZ Gamer. He's a friend of the show,
Yeah.
and I don't think he gets enough spotlight, so I'm really stoked to see how he does.
Well, did you see the article that came out from from In Control that announced and pretty much was saying, hey, we feel like EG feels really good going into this MLG, and pretty much, they've been practicing like crazy, and apparently, like, In Control was saying like himself and LZ Gamer have improved a ton. So, hopefully it happens here because they do get a lot of negative feedback from the community. A lot of people are always like, why do you have In Control? Why is he still on EG? He's not doing so well. Well, you have to remember, folks, it's not always about winning when it comes to sponsors. Like, EG's a business.
Winning. Our sponsors, yes.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to sponsors, like, they're a team, they're a business, and their goal is to promote the sponsors. And there's two ways to promote sponsors. There's one, you win, because then, therefore, their sponsors are highlighted. And then two, you're on shows like this when we had In Control on. At the very end of the show, he talks about his sponsors. Or you have them in videos, like the Kingston HyperX videos. So, like, people like In Control and people like LZ Gamer. LZ Gamer is a big, like, community person. Like, he does a ton of streaming. I mean, if you see, he's always drinking Monster. Like, he's always promoting it on his stream. So,
yeah.
I mean, people have to remember that compared to all they see is stats. And they're like, oh, he hasn't won in X amount of time and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, remember, it's a business. It all comes down to it. It's a business. I mean,
a super young business, which is hard to keep in mind as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And if you were to go over to Patrick's house and look at his desk, you would know that In Control does a damn good job because he literally owns anything and everything that In Control has ever had on his person at any time.
I think we have
Gunner glasses, Steel Series, everything,
Yep.
and a pyramid, a 2-scale pyramid made out of monster cans. So,
Yes, I love my Steel Series. Believe it or not, just to promote Steel Series real quick here, my Steel Series Siberia version 2 headset. That's why I'm not wearing them right now, because the mic actually had a problem with them when it fully extended. The mic wouldn't work. So I contacted Steel Series. They're like, send it back to us. We'll send you a brand new one. You'll get the full new warranty and everything like that. So they take good care of you.
I think Steel Series should sponsor you, Patrick.
All right, so I'm going to make the list. You ready? We have the Steel Series. I'm going to raise my mic here. We have the Steel Series Sensei. We have the Steel Series Hard Mat. The Steel Series 7G keyboard. And then I have the Steel Series headphones. And then the Gunner glasses, which aren't made by Steel Series, but definitely a sponsor. So.
Oh, look, there went 400 more viewers. Thank you.
They're gone. They're like, we don't like Steel Series. We're done.
They're dropping faster than the older public subscriber rate.
Oh, snap.
Oh, topical. Yeah. So anything else that we didn't touch on that's coming up at MLG this weekend? I think we hit it all. So, yeah. Is there anyone you don't think is going to win, but you're just rooting for anyway, Patrick?
I'm going to have to say for the WCS or MLG?
Either.
Okay. MLG, I'm going to have to say Pult. I really enjoyed watching like his kind of matchup of Pult versus Stefano, kind of like the show matches, which I think they're actually going to have more of them in the future. I think at this next MLG they will too as well, just because everybody enjoyed them really well. As for WCS, for people that I'm rooting for outside of EG, because a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are EG biased, just because we have them on the show so much. Taking a quick look real quick here. I'm going to have to say Minigun from Team Complexity. I've always enjoyed watching his streams and stuff like that. What about you guys? Anybody particular?
I don't think he's gonna win, but I always root for Marine King just because I'm I've always loved his play style. It's always been very entertaining to watch. But given his recent performance, I don't think he's going to make it all the way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be jumping up and down on my couch rooting for him.
What about you, Kyle?
After all the build-up, and we've said this in the past, we're big old noobs. We didn't watch Brood War. We don't fully understand what's going on. But we assume that their fingers are going to catch on fire and we're all going to be amazed. And I want that to happen a little bit. I'd be real disappointed if all this hype about Brood War players having better APM, better control, if none of this happens, it's going to be real disappointing. And so I'm hoping for a good, super villain. Like, where did this guy come from? Out of Brood War. This is amazing. He can't be stopped. And then some of our good old, pro players, I'm looking at Dong Ragu because he's my favorite, but to, put a stop to it and be like, no, I've been playing this game longer.
You're all about the story. You're all about the story.
You want like a Godzilla monster story.
Yeah. Well,
I want like an anime story. I want the whole, like, he's down on the ground and like, I can't win unless I power up. And he has to reach level 5 hair length before he can finally beat him. Have a mask make out of his own snot.
Well, you got to think of it. Like, from my perspective, I hope that doesn't happen. And the reason is just because, like, I hate to see the repercussions. Like, to see these Brood War players, this is kind of like their big introduction to the scene. And, like, this MLG, and to see them come in, and if they do really well, like, I feel bad, and I don't want to see it happen for the current pro players. Because the current pro players, we've all come accustomed to, we've connected with their stories. We're very close. We're very close with them on like a virtual basis. And to see these people just come in and smash all their hard work and everything like that, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to see that happen. I want to see like the Jae Youngs and the Fantasies and the Flashes work for it. Like, yes, they have the skill sets. Yes, they have the knowledge of StarCraft 1, but this is a completely different game. Doesn't matter. Yes, there's some similar units. The actions are different. The movements are different. The key selections are different. Everything. So I really hope they don't. But I like the storyline you're going with, Kyle. And so it would be cool. But I'm kind of.
This concerned. Is 8 players. I mean, to say 8 Kespa, big built-up players, not a single one is going to make it out of that open. Like, that'd be the saddest story on Earth.
I'd be happy.
You'd be happy.
I'd be like, see, go back to your practice houses. This is a different game. Stop playing Brood War. Start playing StarCraft 2.
I'm just going to be the Debbie Downer, and I say I don't really think they're going to do anything spectacular. I don't think they're going to blow our minds.
Yeah, Garrett.
That's me. So, well, that's great. That's going on. Starts tomorrow. I've got our HD pass thing. They send you like the code and you have to plug it in. I don't really like how they do it, but I've got it locked in. We're ready to go. I can't wait. Can't freaking wait. It's gonna be a good weekend. That, and I have the Guild Wars 2 beta, which I'm kind of excited to play. But I don't think anyone listening right now likes MMOs, so I'm gonna move on.
Yep.
The TSL 4 qualifier registration is now open. Now, we talked about the TSL a while ago. It seems like now. With Kennegat came on. What episode was that? Like 98 or something? I don't know.
It was almost at the 100 mark, somewhere around there.
Yeah. You can go back and listen to it. I'm pretty sure it was right before we had Sundance on. But anyway, the qualifier registration is now open. So if you're, if you're interested, if you think you can make it, make sure you go check this out. To quote TL, they said the first round of qualifiers will start after MLG Anaheim concludes next week from June 12th to the 14th. We'll see the first round of events whose winners will be awarded spots in TSL 4. And we have a link in the show notes. And should be thrown in the chat room for you guys for more registration details and the specific dates. So good luck to anyone out there who's trying to get into this, because that's definitely one of the cooler things about TSL is that it's just completely, a big open portion.
Yep.
So, in other news this week, the STC joined Quantic, and over on the Quantic site, they have a short little interview with them. On the subject of joining a foreign team, the STC said, "I wanted to join a foreign team so that I would have many opportunities to compete internationally. Recently, it has been somewhat hard at home because my sister started college, so I want to be able to help my sister." Which is just awesome. I love anytime someone joins Quantic, we get these little, like, slices of their life. Yep. It's always nice.
And who was he with before? OGS, what was that?
He was with...
Yeah, OGS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they disbanded. The reason I asked is because I watch him a decent amount on stream, and he's really, really good, and he streams a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy that they're kind of getting picked up. So I didn't realize either that Quantic was sponsored by Twitch. So I was like, huh,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't. Do you know if Twitch sponsors any other teams, or is it just Quantic? I can't think of any else. I mean,
I couldn't answer that on the
Okay.
spot. I don't know.
okay.
So, anyways, if you're unfamiliar with the STC, he actually came in third at MLG Orlando, which is the one you and I went to, Kyle. So that was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, he lost to MC, but MC lost to Huck, so that was a good MLG.
How interesting that Quantic took the time to have this, nice little interview with him. Whereas this past week, we had Naniwa refusing to do JP's Get Personal interview on his new show.
I freaking love that show, by the way.
Yeah, I like it. It's very personable. It's cool to get inside the players' heads a bit, kind of steer their background.
It's like inside the actor studio for StarCraft players.
Well, I thought Naniwal agreed to be on it, but it had to be live because he was concerned about JP editing certain parts to make him appear, different than what he was. Now, I didn't hear any other news other than that. Is this kind of newer, Kyle, that he refused to be on it completely?
Yeah, yesterday, JP McDaniel tweeted that he was not going to do it because Naniwa didn't care what a bunch of random people think of him. He should spend that time practicing.
You see, when the day comes where Naniwa isn't as good as what he is right now, and he does need that public spotlight.
When he's walking down the street too old to play StarCraft, and we're like, I don't know a thing about you.
When he needs the sponsors, a ton and all that good stuff, and, he needs that public image that we were talking about, good luck with that, buddy. Good luck with that.
Sure.
Can Naniwa do anything without causing, Reddit drama?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't understand it. Every time the guy sneezes, it's on Reddit. So
it's interesting. I mean, any nerd in his place, looking from the outside, would do it. But if you were personally Naniwa and something, did we just